He has rejected you from being king of Israel. You worry about the wrong thing and you'll lose what you have by thinking about what somebody else wants. A lot of people have lost what they had, worried about what somebody else wants or whatever somebody else is going to say. They've lost families, they've lost many things. The other thing worry will lead you to do, worry will put you and make you be in a situation where you'll go to an area of seclusion or you'll hide yourself and try to hide from everything and everybody. Now, word of example, when you think about this, we're going to talk about Elijah. But worry made Howard Hughes lock himself up in a penthouse for over 30 years. At one time, he was the richest man in the world, had everything he wanted, but he locked himself up because he was worried that something strange was going to happen to him. Somebody just died a year ago, Michael Jackson. Same thing. Worried. Remember, he put himself in an incubator because he was worried he was going to catch diseases for a while. He was wearing masks and gloves and all these things. Worried. Worry will make you hide yourself and seclude yourself from everybody. Even God. Proof. Look at this in 1 Kings chapter 19. We're going to turn there. When we think about Elijah, Elijah was a powerful prophet of God. And in that chapter before this, the same Elijah who's hiding out had just defeated over 850 false prophets. The same Elijah took on 450 prophets of Baal. On the day when he said, well, you call upon your God, and I'll call upon my God, and we'll see who is God. He had gone in and defeated all of these old false prophets. This one Elijah wasn't afraid of any of these men. But then, after this happened, this one person, Jezebel, made this prophet who had just defeated all of these other men run and hide in the cave. And one person. So look at 1 Kings chapter 19. We're going to walk through this. Now this is what happened now. Like I said before, in that 18th chapter, he had just defeated all of 450 false prophets. He had seen God come down and dry up the water around the altar and consume the sacrifice. And 450 prophets had died because they had served the false God. The same man who had just been victorious and God had shown his power and that Elijah was his servant. One step later, it says this. And Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done. And that he had slaughtered the prophets of Baal. So Jezebel sent this message to Elijah. She said, may the gods also kill me if by this time tomorrow I have failed to take your life like those you have killed. Now, there's a key word in there. She said, by this time tomorrow. And so when you look at the scripture in Matthew, Jesus said this, he said, don't worry about tomorrow. He said, don't worry about it. He said, tomorrow will take care of itself. Now, just because she said that word, she said, by tomorrow this time, you're going to be dead. Now, this is the man who is a servant of God. God is protected the whole time. And now he's afraid. So Elijah was afraid and fled for his life. He went to Beersheba, a town in Judah, and he left his servant there. Then he went on alone into the desert, traveling all day. He sat down on a solitary broom tree and prayed that he might die. He said, I have had enough, Lord. He's coming at him, but God protected him now. But see, God is protecting him the whole time. But now he's saying, Lord, I've had enough. I took on all these prophets. I took on all these things. And now here this Jezebel says she's going to kill me. I done had enough. Take my life, for I am no better than my ancestors. See, then he lay down and slept under the broom tree. But as he was sleeping, an angel touched him and told him, get up and eat. Notice that? When a person is worried, the first thing that happens, what do? You stop eating. You get weak, you stop eating. Yeah. He looked around and saw some bread baked on hot stones and a jar of water. So he ate and drank and lay down again. Now notice, Elijah didn't have any food and water with him. He was on the run. So where do you think the food and water came from? So a man on the run, nothing to eat, nothing to drink, but all of a sudden, he wakes up and sitting right next to it is bread and food and water. Yeah. He looked around and saw some bread baked on hot stones and a jar of water, so he ate and drank and lay down again. And the angel of the Lord came again and touched him and said, "Get up and eat some more, but there's a long journey ahead of you." So he got up and ate and drank, and the food gave him enough strength to travel 40 days and 40 nights to Mount Sinai, the mountain of God. There he came to a cave where he spent the night. But the Lord said to him, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" Elijah replied, "I have zealously served the Lord God Almighty. But the people of Israel have broken their covenant with you, torn down your altars, and killed every one of your prophets. And I alone am left. And now they are trying to kill me too." The other thing worry will do, you notice, it'll make you think you're wrong. It'll make you think you're by yourself. When you get worried, you always say this. First thing you hear, that's the devil. I don't have nobody to help me. I'm all by myself. I'm all by myself. That's what worry is. It makes you think that you're alone. But look what God does. So he said, "Go out and stand before me on the mountain," the Lord told him. And as Elijah stood there, the Lord passed by, and a mighty windstorm hit the mountain. It was such a terrible blast that the rocks were torn loose. But the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind, there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, there was a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, there was the sound of a gentle whisper. When Elijah heard it, he wrapped his face in his cloak and went out and stood at the entrance of the cave. And the voice said, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" Do you notice one thing when you get worried? The devil's going to always hit you with a lot of noise. And you see all these situations going on, and he said, the mountain shook, but God wasn't in the mountain. The fire came, but God wasn't in the fire. Earthquake, but he wasn't in the earthquake. But in a moment of silence, God spoke. And he asked him, "What are you doing here?" He said, "What are you doing here? You're running when you have me." What are you running from? You have me. I'm right here with you. I told you I will never leave you. I told you I will be here. What are you worried about? He told him, "Stand up." What you getting on? Stand up. I'm here. What it said? The Lord said, "I'll fight your battle." You don't have to fight it. I'll fight it. Why? Because you're mine. What you worried about? What is it? The thing with it was Wanda on Living Colors with the Damons. Well, she said, "I got you. I got you." That's what God is saying. I got you. What you worried about? I got this. Stop worrying. And so when you look at that and you see it over and over again, people worry. And what do you see them doing when they worry? And you say, well, they make irrational, impulsive decisions. They just go off on a whim and make a decision without thinking about it. Because they worry about something. Health problems. When I talk about health problems, stress. You get to the point where you just worry and you just tighten up. Stress. You get stressed out about everything. From that standpoint, you just can't see, you can't hear anything. Worry leads to addiction. A lot of times when people get worried, They say, I need an outlet. I need a release. What I do? Well, drugs will get me high for a little while, then it'll get me away for a little while, but come right back down. Alcohol might do it for a little while, come right back down. Like they say, you drink it, but that worry hadn't gone anywhere. That problem hadn't left. It's still right there. Criminal acts. Some people worry, well, the Lord said he was going to give him a bread and water just like he provided for Elijah. What did the devil say? Well, you got to go out there and get it on your own. You by yourself. So what do? They go and they steal something. They rob something. A lot of murders happen because somebody was worried about something. They worried somebody was after them. And you see a lot of that nowadays. Especially with the young people. I'm worried somebody's going to bully me. I'm worried somebody's going to not stop bothering. I'm worried and what do? They take a gun to school. Well, if I do this, my words will be over. But the words won't be over. That's just the beginning of your trouble. And I look at this more and more, and basically the Lord's giving me this and just saying, what you're seeing is almost like not Citizen Kane the movie, but Citizen Kane the people. Because when you see this happening, that's the very thing Cain did. And it's just over and over again. When Abel was giving his sacrifice, and God was accepting the sacrifice of Abel, Cain got mad because every time Cain would offer a sacrifice, God would blow the smoke back in his face. So what did the devil tell him? You want to get rid of that? You don't have to worry about it no more. Get rid of Abel. God's going to have to accept the sacrifice. And what do all the people do now? You want to get rid of the problem? Get rid of him, and you won't have to worry about it no more. What happened? As soon as Cain killed Abel, God said, what have you done? Now he kills Abel, and now he has a lifetime of running because he's afraid that the people that come across him are going to kill him. Same situation. Somebody kills somebody. That person kills somebody. They come back and kill the other person. It's just an endless cycle. All because of worry. Death because of worry. All of that because of worry. What you do about worry? This is good for you. Don't wade in the worry. Will the worry. Remember the old song, Deacon, they used to go get baptized before you sing, wade in the water. Y'all know what wading means? No. Wading is basically when they used to take you down into the water, and the water gets so high you can't just walk, so you gotta struggle to get through it. So you're pushing yourself through it to get in the water's pushing back against you. When you wade in word, that means you're trying to struggle through the word. You're doing everything to push against it, and the more you push against it, the more you take in that water, the further down you get. Know how when you got mud in your shoes and you get caught in that mud and you're steadily trying to get through it? They call that blackjack mud in Plaquemine. You get stuck in that stuff, it's just like a vacuum. Once your feet go down, it sucks you down. And the funniest thing is the guy I worked with, he got caught in some of that blackjack mud just like that one time. He jumped down in it and he tried to come out and he couldn't. Know how they got him out? 2 or 3 guys tried to lift him up. This guy probably weighed about 240 pounds. They tried to pull him out. They couldn't do it. Know how they got him out? They had the towel rope around his waist. Get the bucket on the back of him. And lift him up out of it. That's how strong that mud was. That's what it's like when you get caught in worry. It's going to hold you down. And you can't lift yourself up out of it. You can't do it. It's going to suck you down every time. So, we say, well, what does will mean? And that's why Jesus tells us, it taught us to pray this in the prayer. He said, Lord, thy will be done. And so when you look at will, that means you have determination, you're motivated, you have a desire, you have a preference. It says you have a yearning for it. So when worry comes, don't wait in the word. Yearn for the word. Don't get caught up in all the situations and circumstances. Have a desire for what